Plantasia is a cozy idle game. You are a space botanist in an orbital greenhouse working to restore a dying planet. Now, if that doesn't make you feel like you're on an elevator, I don't know what will. I'm pretty proud of the affix system. Our game has a high volume of unique items, in this case plants, and one of the systems in the games that I enjoy, that I'm quite familiar with, comes from ARPGs like Diablo or Path of Exile, where you have these modifiers that affect your stats or gameplay in those games. And for Plantasia, since it's designed to be a focus tool, I incorporated the affix system as a way for our players to adjust their gameplay to best fit their needs. So for example, if someone is working and their attention span is about 10 minutes long and then they need to take a quick break, using the affix system in Plantasia, they will be able to adjust the plant grow times so that the plants are ready to be interacted with every 10 minutes. And I thought that was a nice way for players to be able to adjust the game to fit their needs. There were a few design guidelines I had when I was coming up with systems and mechanics for Plantasia. One of them was born out of an uncertainty as to whether we would continue to work on the game after release and ship updates, or if this is going to be a one and done. So one of the things I knew early on is that I wanted the systems and mechanics to be scalable if we did want to add more, but also be standalone, so that if we weren't able to continue updating the game after release, it would still be feature complete and still feel good. Another guideline for my design process was that I wanted the systems and mechanics to all work towards the same goal as to what we intended the player experience to be. So, for example, one of the things I talked about very early on with Ayla, our creative director, is that there's no wrong choice for players. They will be able to play the game however they want, make progress in whatever way that they enjoy the most. And my job is to create a framework that facilitates that type of environment. Aside from the time, the player is also going to be able to customize the visuals and the audio for growing plants. So for example, if you're like me and you really enjoy the sound of running water, one of the affixes that you can breed on your plants is increasing the likelihood that the water trigger appears. And then when you interact with it, it should play the sound of running water. And you can pick your favorite color for the plants. I do want to give thanks and show my appreciation to Ayla and everyone at CBG for making this such an enjoyable process. I made a lot of new friends, and for anyone looking to get into the industry, especially as a game designer, there is some advice that I can give on that, even though I'm still working on that myself. First, for game design in particular, depending on the project that you're going to be working on, learning how to script is incredibly important. It's one thing to know how to talk about design, but it is also a very important skill to be able to make the things that you're talking about. Now, that's obviously not always going to be the case, but you don't have to learn how to code, but a certain level of technical skill is very expected, I think, especially when you start working with larger teams and studios. There's a lot of free educational content out there that is definitely worth spending time on. Aside from that, talk to people, network. That's very common advice, but it's very helpful. I would also say that for a lot of new designers in particular, they can often be much more intuitive with how they think about design. They will have a feeling as to what works and what doesn't. And taking time every day, every week to make notes and take these intuitions and conceptualize them a bit more, and having more concrete mental frameworks for thinking about design is also very helpful. Not only does that help improve your ability to design, but it also improves your ability to communicate these designs to others, especially in a way that they can easily understand. I grew up playing games when I was a kid. I got into esports and consulting. I was just doing it for fun, but I made a lot of friends in the industry as a result of that. And in my last semester of university, in a completely unrelated major, several of them suggested I pursue a career in gaming and were surprised I hadn't gotten into it sooner. So I listened, and I am very happy that I made the switch. Cave Bear gave me more hands-on experience, which is something that I was looking for, trying to transition from a consultant to a full-time designer. The design skills were something that I already felt comfortable in, just being able to create systems and mechanics that fit different genres of games. It was the more collaborative, hands-on, this is not in person, but studio experience that I was really looking for. And I got that here. One of Cave Bear's pillars is education, and I love learning. Basically, anytime I'm not working, I teach myself things. I'm also pretty passionate about what I do. I put a lot of effort into my work. And what was the last pillar? Oh, communication. Everyone's is good at communicating on the team, except for me sometimes. Sometimes I stumble over my words. But the education one, that's the main one. I hope more studios do what Cave Bear is doing. I think that the state of the gaming industry is obviously a bit rough right now. There's a lot of very talented people out there who are struggling to find jobs. They are struggling to find opportunities to get the experience that they need to even get those interviews to begin with. And I think that finding like-minded people, again, who are passionate about what they do and believe in the vision or their goals are aligned, is very good. And it's a pretty rewarding experience being able to collaborate with a lot of people who are good at things that you may not be. And yeah, I hope we see more indies in the future. I would tell myself to push for a longer, it's pre-production phase, being able to spend more time designing before things start being built. I would also ask for playtesting much earlier in the process to validate certain ideas that I'm thinking. I think I'm quite collaborative by nature. I like hearing everyone's opinions and getting their thoughts on everything. And one of the things that I have noticed that happens as a result of that is that time frames for making decisions can get artificially extended more than I think they would need, because I like to talk with everyone so much and hear what they have to say. So it's being able to say like, okay, we should probably put off this conversation for now, or hold off on these features until a later date, or continue this conversation at a later point. Those are all things I should probably say a bit more often.